Excellent. Tommy, always good to talk to you. I met Tommy when I was doing social media on Facebook and Instagram a lot. And I saw Tommy. Tommy, I'm so sorry. I wasn't going to try to even butcher your last name. And we've been talking so casually. How do you say
Yes.
your last name?
You pronounce it like Diependaal.
Diependaal. See, I'm really glad I didn't try to do that at first.
Yes. Because Americans mostly say Diependaal or something like that. And I think, no, no, man, I don't wear your diaper. It is Diependaal.
Like it. So yeah, I first started seeing your basically just your posts on Facebook. You had just great animation, and I was like, oh, this guy's doing something. Check out your program and everything you preached, and I was like, oh, okay. So I kept up with you a bit before I reached out to you,
Hmm.
and we've had 3 or 4 conversations.
Something like that. Well,
And
very long conversations.
yeah, very long conversations, very good
Yeah.
conversations. So I always enjoyed those, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to start posting podcasts that I find that I want to do on my YouTube channel. I go, you know what? Tommy's going to be great. So I just wanted to get you.
Oh, thank you.
I got such great info off you, and liked a lot of what you do. So where is? Give us the origin story. Give us the start one to where you're at.
Yeah, well, I will try to do a short version. I'm original from the Netherlands, and somehow in my 40s, I decided to go to Southeast Asia after a holiday. It would first be Indonesia because I had an IT consulting business in the Netherlands, and my one of my best friends, and at that time also a business partner, mentor, uh, had an what is it, Indonesian roots. But okay, 9/11 and Islam and whatever. So they thought that I was also a brown collar Dutch guy. And they said, oh, he's a white one. No, maybe not so good in this time. We don't know where it is going. So I ended up in Thailand, stayed there for 5 years. And then I came here in Laos, in Thailand. I mean, when I came in Thailand in my 40s, I was still a walking billboard for what I was doing. I mean, 90 kilo with below 10% fat.
You were a
Uh,
bodybuilder.
yeah, so people came to me and asked questions, and then when you give some advice or tips and whatever, and then they ask, "Can you coach me?" And so I did some in Thailand, but I was there still a trading consultant, and so my Thai friend, a business lawyer, sent me not send me, but he said, go check out Laos. I have some business and personal friends, and I ended up in Laos. Again, go to the gym, and before I know, I was coaching 7 people per day. Sometimes 8 if they change, from, oh, can you do tomorrow? Today I cannot make it. And then you have your regulars and then an extra on top. So you was living more or less in the gym. But for me, I always say, when they ask me from what is your job, I said I don't have a job. "Oh, how you make money?" Well, I say I have a well-paid hobby. You
Well,
know,
that's a great way to say it.
yeah. The good thing is when you're busy with people, and I think when you have a certain lifestyle. So I love when you have a personal trainer or someone in the health scene, and this person is overweight. And I don't talk about the 5 kilo, right? If you work out, you always fluctuate from bulking up a little bit and then lean down. So you fluctuate a little bit. But if you are 20, 30 kilo overweight and you pretend to be a fitness coach or whatever, then I think, dude,
Practice a
you,
little.
you don't apply the rules to yourself or you have a hard time with that. So,
No, I will
yeah.
say on to that. I remember about 3 years ago, I was watching this trainer in my gym, and he was kind of fitting that bill. And then I didn't say anything, but a little overweight, right? Not
Hmm.
walking too great. And I was thinking, huh, that guy's a trainer. But everyone loved him. And then I started talking to him a little bit. But before I saw him, he'd been hit by a car and 200 pounds heavier. So
Oh,
come all this way and
hmm.
training. And it was very interesting, but I know exactly what you mean by kind of someone who's jumping into the field. I'm like, I don't know.
Hmm.
Really,
The thing is, in the gym that I work out myself, and I still have two two clients. Well, one I train now, or I'm his accountability partner, let's say like that. Because if he don't have an appointment with me, he will skip the gym. And I'm busy with him for 10 years. And to be honest, he will never be in shape because he have his lifestyle. He imported Spanish products, so a lot of wine tasting and stuff involved. And but he say now I at least don't switch totally over to the other side. I can maintain because I see you regularly. And
Is that your main
there's
clientele basically? Like guys, is basically your clientele like guy bodybuilders looking to train, or who do you really service the most?
no. In my 30s, when I was still in the Netherlands, yeah, I was working with some bodybuilders because, well, I'm pretty tough in motivation. I never saw that at that time when I was doing it, but it was fun that my old training partner in my 20s contact with me on Facebook, and then he said, "Yeah, he was always so pushing in the gym. Without you, I never would reach to that level that I came." And I think from, oh, that is not how I do have the memory, right? I was needing my training partners to come to my level. But so you can see that you always support and in a different way, and that you perceive things in a different way. And that's why I say I always talk in my coaching about identity. So I have female, male clients, usually 40 plus or even 50 plus, but I even had some teenagers, and also them I make them. It is all about your belief. If you don't believe in yourself while you're doing business, you will not make it in business. If you don't believe in yourself, what you think that you can achieve sport wise, headset in the gym, tennis court, or whatever sport you do, if you don't believe in your goal, you will never come there.
Give me something like give me a situation where you're like this person didn't believe what you needed them to believe, and once they believed it, they did it. Give me like a breakdown,
I,
like you work on their belief to produce.
hmm, I give you a very nice example. I was training the wife. So it was an expert couple here at that time, still in the gym, still as an personal trainer. And on a certain moment, the wife asked, "Can you train my husband?" And he was some typical 40-year-old, and then go to the gym, and then they have everywhere pain. So he had the wrist bandage, knee bandage, all this shit, and he come asking me, and I say, "Yeah, if you, I can coach you, but the first session, don't come with all this shit on your body." Oh, but I heard here, I heard there. Yeah, but you make it weaker like that because you don't use your supporting muscle and stuff like that. So yeah, he came and totally doubted me that I say from that the all this supporting shit around him. I said, man, the only time when I put a belt on is when you go really heavy on squat. I mean, I still squat and 130, 140 kilo. I don't wear a belt. And no need for that yet. Not even knee bandage or whatever. No, nothing. Uh,
So
so
now
people,
was his bandages and straps for injury
yeah, the straps, that you just buy, yeah, just some straps on your wrist and stuff like that to support. And
the new gear?
yeah. They all feel the joints and stuff like that. And I also say now these days, all your biological pain start with your nutrition, and then a lot of your pain will be gone because it is inflammation, right?
Right.
So change your food, and your pain will most likely gone. Beside when you overdo it, so then it is recovering. But come back to this guy. So I start training with him, and he was getting stronger, and indeed all his pain was gone because, well, most people they start to train and they think right away in the end goal, right? So if they have 100 kilo in mind, but they are just on a level that they can, in a correct way, 70 kilo, and then constant they try way too heavy, yeah, then your joints are not happy with that, right? So even if you train someone, uh, muscle tissue adapt faster than your ligaments. So then they start to get pain. Yeah, fuck, man. go back, train on 80% or something like that. Don't try to be always on 100%. I mean,
For preaching
as a Dutch guy, right?
apps.
Sorry, I don't hear your sound.
Oh, sorry about that. How about now?
Yeah.
Oh, so you were more like take off these straps, get him in here. He starts moving. He starts kind of working through the pain, but those are the muscles that are turning on.
Uh, well, not working to the pain, right? If it hurt, it's a signal of the body, right? So I always say, learn to listen to your body. Your body talk to you in many ways, not just with pain. Sometimes it can be more subtle, but so when you feel tired, then you know that you need to take rest,
Right. I completely agree. Listen to the body
right?
signals.
So I just did go down that I didn't push him to a level. Let's first adapt the body to a proper workout. And then he find out that because in the Netherlands, 2/3 of the country is underwater. So we learn swimming from first grade elementary school. So by 6, 7, you get swimming lessons if your parents didn't give you already lessons before. So I ended up playing water polo beside my martial arts, what I did also already. So I was always into sport. And so so swimming, water polo. Can you teach me how to swim? I said, yeah, I did. I said, even one of my ex-girls in Thailand, I learned how to swim. I said, I'm Orthodox, right? You know already how I go with things. There's no pussy cutter approach. It is hardcore because you must set your mind that you believe that the water will support you. The
So
water is not your enemy.
kind of like building a belief system. You kind of first showed him you don't need these straps. You can toss that belief
Yeah,
away.
yeah, yeah.
Then you
So
bring,
most people, so he had really a fear of water. And he was original from Canada, but he lived long time in Australia. I said, so the whole water culture there, and you didn't dare to go in the water? He said, no. If I could stand until my waistline, then I was okay, confident. So okay, I said, yeah, I can train you to swim. And well, I make him swim, even underwater. I make him dive from the side and stuff like that.
how was
So
he?
his whole
Was he like nervous and you had to break him
Yeah,
in?
yeah, yeah. So his whole belief changed. But then the beauty from this story is most experts, they are here for 3, 5, 6 years, and then they move to another country. So then in a certain moment, about almost a year later, I get an email from him, a pretty long email that he thanked me because where he was now, he was on a boat on the ocean, and he could swim with dolphins. So he jump in the water and swim with dolphins. He say many times when you was teaching me how to swim, I was not sure or you was trying to help me swim or try to drown me because how he was pushing me. He say, but because of that, I was so confident that I had no problem to jump off the boat and swim with the dolphins. He said, I could never have this experience if I didn't have met you and you bring me over this. So I bring a new identity in the person. He didn't believe anymore in his water fear or that he need to feel ground or whatever. He was confident that he let the water use him. I show him from if you tense, scared, and your body is totally tight, right? That you go from
Rigid.
you will sink. You will sink. But if you relax and totally float, the water will push you up. Just go in the water and hang down, right, with your face down. You will not sink to the bottom. You need to swim to the bottom, or you must swallow so much water. Then, yeah, in the end, you will sink. But if as long as water in your, or air in your lungs, and you just relax, the water will push you up. You will not sink.
Now, how do you teach this now? Because you're mostly, are you mainly online? Mostly online.
Mostly online.
Mostly online.
Yeah.
So, like, how do you on more like your reach out when you're doing Zooms or training or lessons online? Where does what are like applicable things that you do for someone like that? Because that's how I train. What are like applicable ways to be able to like give your client that confidence or let them get that confidence to still build those beliefs? What's your program
Hmm.
for that?
Well, the thing is, of course, I use my fitness experience. I mean, I started 50 years ago, I started with strength training. Was getting a dumbbell set from my parents, and in my bedroom, you had the adjustable dumbbells and the barbell, and that's how I started working out. And then it was pretty quick in the gym and stuff like that. But so I use my experience because, well, if you hear 50 years, then you know that how I was training in my 20s while I want to be the biggest bodybuilder that I could be. And well, I started lifting weights while I was about 70 kilo. So what is that? 150,
Ooh,
160 pounds or something like that, right?
yeah, about my metrics all.
Yeah. And I ended up to almost 100 kilos, so 97 with 8% fat. So there was no belly. There were only packs.
But
And
in like 30s, 40s, 50s, did you?
yeah. So that change, and then in your 30s also you change, so you adapt the way of eating. I always was laughing when people say, oh wait, when you stop training like this then you get fat. No, you don't get fat because you stop training. You get fat because you keep on eating like someone that train, and you don't train anymore. So your calorie needs are lower than when you hardcore working out and stuff like that. So that is also what I always can tell to people. It is not age related. It is lifestyle related. So that's why my approach now is more like a transformational, spiritual lifestyle coach. So I don't see myself as a fitness coach. I try to help people to even if you get older, but that your health span stay the same. So for me, with my age, I'm medication free. I don't need to go to a doctor to get my things and keep moving. And the fun part is I was early this year in Malaysia, and in this place there were quite some elderly people, and it sounds funny because, well, I'm 66 and these people were 60 plus, 70 plus, but they were looking frail, right? I didn't identify me with them. For me, they were like old people while in the same age. So you can see that it is not related to your age, it is to your lifestyle. And I saw someone misstep a little bit from the stairs, and he almost tumbled down. And lucky he didn't fall totally. He just had a misstep. But that is the thing, when you don't work out and your muscles get weak, then you cannot really support yourself. If you see sometimes older people, how they get up when they sit,
Rocking the
that looked almost like an exercise by itself to get up.
right.
While I can stand up without using my hands from the ground, that I just sit with my butt on the ground. Or in Asia, it is a deep squat position. It's just sitting and relax and talk, right? And most people, they cannot even go in a squat position, not even in the gym. They do a squat and the butt come not even below the knees. Then I say, you have a knee problem, or what is that? You don't bend your knees, right? So that's in. I always like to help some people in the gym, and then I say, and I like then to give a little bit sexual explanation, and then I say it is not a two-way conversation. I'm not here to talk about your sex experience. It's just that I give you an oh yeah, I understand, because most people, I would
I'm
say,
wanting to talk, and you're like, hold
yeah, most people would have sex in a certain way, right? In a certain regularity. And then I say it is same as with sex. A couple centimeters make the difference. And I don't talk about size, but right,
on.
how you move, and that is same in sport. I said most people, they don't have to feel full range of motion, and I said then you train only halfway. Or now these days, I was reading from an research, uh, checking your phone in between sets that give a reduction of effectiveness of 30% on your workout. So you wasn't, yeah, you was an hour in the gym, but because you're regular on your phone, then the whole effectiveness from your workout was only 70%.
I get a commercial or something. I'm like, oh, hold on, I got to get my right song going.
Yeah, for me, I remember when mobile phones came and the gym that I was in the Netherlands, then we would go to the gym owner. You had a bar where you get coffee, tea, or whatever, or your protein shake and stuff like that. And you would give your valuables to him or her who was standing behind the counter. And then they would put your phone and your keys and your wallet or whatever in a locker behind and in the locker room. So in the locker room, only your clothes, that at least they cannot steal your keys and whatever. So nobody would have a phone in the training area. Now you must ask from, are you finished with your phone? Can I use the seat? Can I use the machine? I know you're comfortable, but you can sit in the coffee shop if you want to see your phone, you know?
Well,
So
when you,
people,
oh, excuse me, go ahead.
yeah, people, and then I say, how you do one thing is how you do everything in life. So if I see how you work out in the gym, then I have a judgment how you, if you run a business, how you run your business and how you treat your wife, how you treat your kids. So you are never fully present.
So you say, like you talk about, you kind of bring people through the metaphysical, the spiritual, even the body. When someone like first comes to you, someone meets you online, or they're checking out what you have to offer, what's like the typical person coming to you? Is it more body or is it their mind?
Uh, Typical, it is of course people that 40 plus, they start to feel, depending on how quick they answer to the calling from the body, that they start to feel less energy, or the sleep is not as rejuvenated as it should be, right? So they maybe had the 7 hours or 8 hours in bed, but they wake up and they don't feel really fresh. And so for me, I help people now to how you implement certain health habit or healthier habits in your lifestyle, right? If you don't want to be having a big chest and broad shoulders and a six packs anyway, you only see when you are on a low fat percentage, right? You must be on 10, 11, or 12% before you really start to see a six pack. So um, and healthy man can be about 15, around 15. Well, then you have maybe a flat belly, but you don't see really a six pack. You need a couple percentage more lower to start to see your muscles. And that is not a goal for many people. Many people just want to have the energy to go through the day. Not that they, after lunch by 3 o'clock, start to feel like, man, it is bedtime, right? So that is the type of clientele that I help that
What
miss some power.
you help them with their sleep? Like, if they, what's one of the things you have them do? Like, one of the first things you want to take care of is, oh man, their sleep patterns are everywhere. That's where we got to start. Is that where you really got to start from?
Yeah, I have also an ebook about it, and so the AM and PM rituals. I say how you start the day will help you how you finish your day. So I have an 1 hour morning ritual, and then people say, "Oh, I don't have the time for that." I said, "Me either." So I had to go more early to make sure that I have this 1 hour. But most people think because how they usually start the day is right away picking the phone, right? So they are right away in a negative stimulation of the brain. So
Right.
they already stressed before the first coffee is in the body, because they look to emails or get some message or whatever thing come on the phone. It is not always uh, positive news what you see on the phone, right? Even if you just see the news now these days. So I teach them how you start your day, and it is the same in the end. And you hear already that I talk about phones. So for me, this from in the first hour, don't go on your phone. I also talk in the first hour, have a little walk or cycle. And I don't mean uh, hardcore exercise. No, have a walk. So you get already sunlight. You only need 15, 20 minutes a relaxed walk. If you have dogs, well, then you need to go out anyway. But so you get sunlight, your circadian rhythm start up, and then give attention to your dog. Give attention to your environment. Be present in the moment without any negative stimulants, and then your day start already much better. So that is what I use with spirituality or ancestral wisdom. And for me, sometimes I smile now. I said, well, fuck, with my age, I just have to go back to memory lane, and then I have a lot of ancestral wisdom. But I go a little bit further back to my grandparents or whatever, right? I don't go like when they say, oh, the paleo diet. Who say that they eat like that? We think that they eat like that. And yesterday I saw on YouTube a video about Yemen. And then the buildings there that, so Yemen, that area was already populated 5,000, 10,000 years ago, that people were living there. Constant, right? You have many places around the world that you maybe had people living in a certain moment somewhere and then they stop. And then you see the buildings there, and modern construction engineers, they just baffle how with these materials that they could build a 4-story building and that it is still standing after a couple hundred years. So
Well,
then you
you,
can see already. Sorry.
what would you say is lacking from the paleo diet?
Oh, nothing lacking because it is whole food, but just the idea that we say that they really eat like that,
How
because
would
then you're going to judge the whole globe. And for me, moving from Europe, from Western Europe to Asia, and the food is totally different. And they eating already for thousands of years like that, right? So if people say from, oh, human life originate from what is now Africa and be expanding around the world, I don't think so, because if archaeological findings, they are then they see that they are in the same time. So he was getting populations spread over the globe more or less at the same time, and sometimes it was on one part more developed. So I go from forget all this guessing bullshit and eat real food. And the thing is from, you know,
what's food to you? So what would be like real food to you? What do you tell your clients?
well, have now these days they want to give beef a bad name. No, the beef that you eat is bad beef because the cow was feeding not the natural food that the cow need to have. And if it is from a commercial farm, then the cows are fully stuffed with medication and all kind of artificial in subjects that they inject in the body that a normal cow that live in nature would not have. Right? So you just need better food. I follow. So get food that is more natural, how it should be. I mean, you can taste it with a chicken egg if you have an egg, a chicken that just roam around, eat worms, insect, and kitchen garbage, or you have a chicken that just is on grains.
Right.
Same for the human body. If they say, oh, but in the past they had already bread in the Middle Ages, or even in the time of the Romans, 2,000, 3,000 years ago, they make already bread. Yeah, but that bread was spoiled after 2 days, 3 days. It was stone hard. Now
Right.
you can buy bread that stay for 3 months on the shelves, and it is still tasting like it came out of the oven just an hour ago. You know,
So do
so
you directing your clientele more? So basically get that circadian rhythm, then they work on their food. What kind of outlets where do you point them when they're going, okay, I want to start eating like that?
I remember one of my first online client. He was a Jew. Yeah, he was Jewish and living in Chicago. And he was about 50 something. And then, well, I start talking, right? So that's what I do. Same as with you, I have a conversation. I don't go there with my standard questions, even as a life coach and many coaching certifications. I use that just as a background to help me to get in a certain direction. But the questions must come up natural in the conversation. I don't have a list with questions that I want to go through, because for one person that would be right and for the other person totally wrong. So you must go in a natural flow. And
Yeah,
then I,
that's the fifth step kind of a thing.
yes, and then I say from, okay, so what do you eat? What is your protein source? Most people under eat protein, right? They think that protein is a bodybuilding thing, and then I say, well, your skin would not look so healthy if you not eat enough protein. Your nails would not be looking so healthy. Your hair and the whole body. Protein is the base source for your biological system to operate in a perfect way. And then I say the whole thing that they say 0.8 per pound of body weight, that was based on from the Western world, based so that the more underdeveloped countries there where the people could not afford it still thought that they would eat on the right way. It's just the minimum amount of protein without getting sick, right? I said, so for a healthy person, first of all, they need to eat more protein, even if they don't go to the gym at all. That doesn't matter. So eat more protein. And then, so this guy, and then said, well, if you eat, so he was giving hot dogs and stuff like that. I said, eat more chicken. So the next appointment that I have, and then he show chicken hot dogs in a can, right? And I say, the only chicken that you have in this hot dog is on the label. There's no chicken in there. There's flavors and artificial flavors to make it maybe taste a little bit like chicken, and maybe there's some substance that they pluck out of a chicken and inject it in the whole substance that they make this hot dog. But that is not what I talk about when I say you should be eating more chicken. You, you should just have a chicken. What is your problem to just have a chicken? So for me, in my early 20s, I came in America. I was in Florida the first time, and come in a supermarket, and I want to have some whole fresh milk. And I step in and I saw a shitload of milk with extra calcium, A, B, and and I think from shit, man. In Netherlands we have low fat, half full milk, and buttermilk. That were the choices we had at that time in the 80s, early 80s. And in America, there was a whole aisle, and I was looking from what is normal milk here? I just need normal milk. So at that time, there was already so much choice that they make. So for me, to most people, I say, get 4 to 5 meals that you are comfortable with. And don't start with McDonald's, but have 4 or 5 meals that is normal, considered normal food.
Go-to
Even,
food.
even if you have potatoes or pasta or rice, white rice, fresh vegetables, even some deep freeze, if it is just really good deep freeze quality without all kind of if you look on the label and you have 20 ingredients, well, that is not the right package that you should have. And and make your food by yourself. I In the time when I was single, I would just batch cook, right? If I cook something, then I make a pan so big that I have 5 or 6 meals and eat one, and the rest go in the deep freeze. And you do that two times per week, and you have food for 2 weeks,
You said.
right? So if you do that, then it is so. I eat more or less the same on a daily basis. There are little variations in it, but the base is the same. And you change a couple things, and then okay, now and then you go out, and then still I make in the same range of, because you teach your body to your whole nervous system is used to certain food stimulants. And I learned that the hard way. Well, not in a negative way, but I was 3.5 years in Thailand, and then without going to the Netherlands, and then I had a trip to the Netherlands. And like everybody that live outside of his home area where he was born and live most of his life, and then a couple of years not there, and then go back. And for sure, if you Asia or Western Europe, totally different environment. However, I grew up with Asian people in the Netherlands, so I was used to Asian food, but still, you have a lot of things that are typical Dutch. And so then you can see it as more or less an emotional baggage than a biological baggage. So I came in the Netherlands and go for food that I did enjoy while I was living in Netherlands, and it didn't give me the same pleasure anymore. I don't say that I find it disgusting, but it didn't give me the same pleasure anymore because the emotional story was not there anymore. After 10 days missing my food that I would eating in Thailand. So I was going to an Asian supermarket and buy ingredients to make some Asian Thai style food. And the person there
Just like
laughing because, well,
just
I was flipping around.
became accustomed to a certain type of food, and then switching back, it was just kind of like, not
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
much.
Yeah, so I see that in the past when people say, "Oh, when I eat rice, then I an hour later I feel hungry." And no, that is just that you what you put in your mind. Your mind is strong, very strong. With your mindset, you can heal yourself, and you can uh, and you can make yourself sick, right? So that is also the placebo effect. Even in modern medicine, they use many times certain colored tablets related to certain type of disease.
eBook has, yeah.
And then they use a package that you know from, oh, and you pay for it, that you think, oh fuck, this medicine is expensive, so it must be good, right? We always think what is expensive must be good. Well, not necessarily, but of course you get what you pay for. If you buy an $5 t-shirt, then you cannot expect that it will last very long, right? The quality, the
Going down.
weight of the material is indifferent. But many times the medication is just a placebo. So you did it with your mind. And the fun part is I was living here in Asia, and then on an European TV channel, you had a German group of medics going to, let's say, Shanghai. But anyway, they were in China, and they did go to a hospital there. And the hospital had a wing of traditional Chinese medicine and a wing of Western medicine. And there they didn't care which type of treatment would work. They say sometimes we treat people in the Western way, and it doesn't respond. And then we bring them to the traditional Chinese wing, and then it responds. We don't care as long the person get better. Right? We don't say the Western is not good, or the Chinese is not good, or no, depending on the person, on the beliefs, again, believing from the person. You see it in the flu season, right? And then I laugh a little bit because if you keep on living with quite a lot of things that you do the same. So most people, they get susceptible to catching the flu because the lifestyle changed. Less outdoor, less sunlight, so less vitamin D.
Right.
And vitamin D is important for your immune system. People underestimate that. So,
So it sounds like like everything you're saying, the circadian rhythms, just getting back to the raw, neutral, like regular food, getting the mindset straight. Who, when it comes to what did your I guess my question would be, who actually comes looking for you when you get spotted, you take on a new client? How did they find you? What were they looking for?
uh, how did you find me?
Exactly. That's a great point, right? Exactly. Looking people.
So, yeah, so for me, I'm not looking for clients. The clients will find me, and sometimes it is by recommendation from former clients, and they don't walk around from, hey, I had a good coach and I feel now great that you should contact him. No, they have a conversation with friends, with co-workers, somewhere they catch up something, and then they say, "Oh yeah, I was in the same situation. Maybe he can help you uh, if you connect with him." So that's what I like when I have a client. Sometimes maybe the person think from, "Oh, I want that you coach me," and then I say, "Nah, I don't think that I will be the right person for you." And
Got to be the right fit.
yeah, you must. I always go for feeling, my gut feeling, and that is also something. Your gut feeling. Most people think it is a female thing. Female are more because most female they let go. They give more attention to the emotions. Men they put it aside, right? But I learn so I did on Mind Valley quite some things, and they say to be a better coach, follow teachings, what is totally outside of your interest,
Hmm.
or in this case, what I think what would make me a better coach. Take something that is totally not aligned with health and wellness, because then you learn to look from a different angle, right? And so the good part is from with all these programs, I think I have about 60 certifications or something like that, because I was just enjoying,
Yeah.
yeah, do different people, and some people they were in some situation. I always smile a little bit that when someone was, let's say, a fat loss coach, because the person was fat before and managed somehow to get to a normal fat percentage, to a healthy weight, that he is a good coach. Hey, there are many top bodybuilders. It doesn't mean that they are good coaches,
Right. Very
right? And in any sport, there are many great football players. It doesn't mean that they turn out in a good coach.
right.
For me, it is something that people say, you was always kind of a teacher.
In
So
your
even in my teenage years, I could talk with all the people. They say, yeah, you don't talk the same as guys from my age. You have so different approach. So it is probably something natural. My one of my best friend, former European level bodybuilder. I mean, in the top five, Dutch champion and stuff like that, gym owner. And when I live in Asia and finally start really commercial coaching people, he say, "Yeah, they are lucky with you. You're born for this. You always was born to give people a view in a different way that is helpful for them. But you must talk in a certain way." I had an American client while I was still a personal trainer, and he say, "I tell you this, you are a great coach, but if you would do the same in America, they will sue you to that."
they would sue you.
Right? Because I say certain things, and it is not to my intention is not to insult someone or hurt someone or hurt someone's feelings. No, it is for me, wake up. Most people are sleeping. They are so indoctrinated by commercials, by people that the whole healthcare system is based on making money.
Hmm.
And there are many things that they suppress, that the pharmaceutical industry know that certain natural ways of healing, natural products would be a better choice. But hey, we say that it is just Quakery, because otherwise they will go for that. They see that it helped better than my $100 tablets, and then
Right.
I lose money. Right? So I love what is his name? Your health Kennedy. And if people say from he talk bullshit, then I say, look to him. How old is he? 70, and I see him doing pull-ups, and he's in shape, and push-ups and stuff like that. But then you saw the former health politician, big fat lady, or I think even was a transsexual or whatever, heavily overweight. Then I think, so who I gonna believe? this fit person
Doing
or
some-
this heavily overweight, right? I was here in I have an in-town room because my house is about, depending on the time of the day with traffic, between 25 to 45 minutes from town. So if I was busy with some clients or you want to meet up, then I have a room there that I don't constantly have to drive up and down. And it's close to the office from the World Health Organization. And in the time from COVID, and then you saw some ladies on sport shoes because, well, the sidewalks are not always, so I understand that they don't gonna walk on high heels, but they were wiggling uh, with the 30, 40 kilo overweight over the sidewalk. And I think, okay, so you work by the World Health Organization and you're gonna tell me what is healthy? Uh, which part did you not read from your own recommendations? What should be healthy? Which part did you miss?
what you're saying.
Right? So for me, I also always say from when people ask me from what do you eat or how do you have your day? Then I say, well, it doesn't gonna work for you. And they say, oh, but I thought you coach me, you teach me from your knowledge. I said, there you say it right, from my knowledge, but I don't copy paste my daily life to you.
Gotta find-
My life is totally different. Plus, I said, remember my age? I say, I do certain things for a long time. It evolved to this level and it fit my lifestyle, my condition that I have now.
Well, I'll tell you what, brother, you certainly practice what you preach, and that's what caught me online with you too. I was just like, oh, okay, hold on. This is someone about 30 years past me, but that's where I see my body. That's where I want it to be. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So that's the funny part that the client that I talk about that I still do face to face and have him almost 10 years now. And the only misconception that he make, he's 50 something, that he say, oh yeah, someone, when I talk about different age, and he said, well, a teenager or someone in the 20s, because they need to have an example. And then I think, I see many fat teenagers. You're going to tell me that I'm not an example for them?
like I'm doing my part. I'm doing my
Right?
part.
Maybe the face doesn't look that they don't want to say from, oh yeah, I want to look the same. No, but body wise,
Well, know who you're selling.
for me the fun part is I see people doing coming to the gym, right, and then they are half hour 40 minutes busy with abs, and I say I do twice per week 2 abs exercise. I said, but I do my compound exercise, deadlift, squats, this and that. And so I remember a story. It was an Indian young man. He was not heavily overweight. Let's say he had a little love handle, right? He was not. He was still young, so he was not a typical big belly from eating too much. Uh, and he was working out. So he was doing sit-ups, and I was just finishing my deadlift. And at that time, on that day, I did 180 kilos. So your core is involved, right?
Sure.
Otherwise, you don't bring that weight up. So he was, tell me what you do for abs. How you do your sit-ups? I said, I never do sit-ups. And then he said, you never do sit-ups? But how your abs? And I just lift up my t-shirt. I said, what is with my abs?
What is with the abs?
And then he said, oh, he said, look at that. How is that possible? I said, well, I just did deadlift. I said, you think that your abs are not involved in getting the weight up and stuff like that? I said, many things. I said, your abs. I said, I do a couple things. Now I do combine it with my dead hang, right? Dead hang, and I lift my legs up and hold it in that position. So then if you come to 1.5 minutes and holding your knees up or your legs up, your abs gonna burn. So
well, I'll tell you what, Tommy. I definitely want to get you back on. We'll get you another time on where maybe you can be in a spot where you can demonstrate some movements, things that you like take some people through or something like that. But either way, man, you practice what you preach. And what is the best way for people to see? How do you like people following you on Facebook? What do you have? Instagram?
Yeah, I have Instagram and Facebook. Uh, Tommy Lifestyle Coach. Then you probably will find me if you type that. And because I'm mostly active on LinkedIn for my clientele. Because I'm not a cookie cutter, so I my price is a little bit higher. And then I always say from you see that with mechanics or whatever, and they come somewhere and in 2 minutes they solve the problem, and then they charge $300 or $500, and then the person, oh, why you did this and that? Oh, you don't pay me for the 2 minutes work, you pay me for my 30 years experience.
You don't pay me for the I love it. I love it.
Right. So
Well,
yeah, Facebook, Tommy Diependaal, and or Tommy Lifestyle Coach. Yeah, then they will find me.
I love it. Well, we'll get you back on. We'll go over some more stuff. I like your style. I like what you're preaching. I like that it's accessible to everybody.
Well, I always enjoy the conversations, right? Even in a private way. I think the maximum score we had was 2.5 hours or something like that. So yeah, we can fill
Going over
an
books and all the literature, it was great.
yeah, we can fill up chapters.
It was great. It was good. All right,
Yeah,
Tommy.
man. Nice talking to you.
Coming on and giving us a little spiel on what you do and how you do it. I love it. I have a lot of respect for it.
Okay, man. Enjoy to being with you. See
Absolutely.
you.
Excellent. So we'll just stop the recording.